Hello, everyone. Hopefully, we are recording now. I am here with Andreas, all the way from Australia. Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, you are a fellow psychic medium, but you do so many different things under that umbrella. You help with business coaching, light language, human design, and other things that we'll get into. So, how did you discover your gifts?
Oh my gosh, that is a loaded question. As it always is. I was not born with, well, as far as I'm aware, I wasn't born with the gift being super obvious to me. I think a lot of psychic mediums are, and they grow up and then they suppress them at some point because they're afraid, and then they reawaken them. That really wasn't my story at all. And I had no idea of this until I was 26 or something like that, 27 maybe, which is like 5 years ago now. I just had a spontaneous psychic awakening after years and years of yoga, meditation, breath work, tantra, all of the pieces that were preparing my body, mind, soul energetically to be awake at this degree. Yeah, it all culminated, and I my psychic channel blew open one night, and that's a whole story in itself. And I've never looked back actually. Like that night really changed the course of my entire life.
No, that's amazing. And it's cool to hear a different story because usually it's like, oh, I was born this way. My whole life was weird, like kind of like my story. So it's cool that you just kind of felt called, I guess, towards spiritual practices and it ended up opening everything for you. Do you mind telling us about that major night with that experience?
Of course, yeah. I'll try and condense a 3 hour or 4 hours experience into like 3 minutes.
Okay.
So I was living in the city of Brisbane, which is actually hosting the Olympic Games in like 2032 or something. So no one knows about Brisbane, but you will, girl.
Yeah.
So I was living in the city of Brisbane and with my ex at the time. And yeah, we were just having an ordinary night, having dinner, we were watching RuPaul's Drag Race. And yeah, it was a super, super standard gay evening, basically. And I had this strong knowing that I had to meditate. I was just like, I had the feeling, I was like, I must meditate. And I couldn't resist that. When I would resist that, I would feel uncomfortable, like it has to be done. So I told my partner, I was like, look, I'm sorry, I've got to meditate. Pause the damn RuPaul, bitch, because I've got to meditate. And I did that and I went into like a deep trance, and then my head started going like this and I couldn't control anything, and I was just running with it. I was like, if anyone knows yoga, it was like, oh, maybe this is a kriya, like maybe this is just a thing. But actually what ended up happening was that was the first time I channeled, uh, and a whole being came through my body and started talking with this masculine booming voice, and my voice ain't that masculine, girl. So that was enough for my partner to be like, who that?
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it was really weird because I was watching it happen. I couldn't control anything. Like this voice came in and it basically said, he said, Andreas is about to go through a big awakening experience. It was all planned, it was all meant to happen. My partner at the time was, he had the full access to the Reiki. I don't know. There's like a something.
You mean
It's not
like
my
he like
realm.
Akashic records or something?
No, he was doing this psychic development training, and the years and years and years prior, and the person that was training him told him he had access to like all 10 layers straight away without having to sort of graduate through each one.
Oh.
So he had something going on, but he was afraid of that and he shut it down like 10 years prior. But though that team told me that like there was a reason the two of us came together, and he was a key for me basically, that unlocked that energy. So yeah, long story short, I went through this crazy experience, and the booming voice like initiated us into that experience and rolled us into what to expect. And then that night I was channeling what I now know was dragon energy. Um, Yeah, it was my psychic development coach that actually helped me to understand that. Oh, I
Wow.
can see Igor's here. Hey, Igor. Hey. Um, yeah, she helped me understand it was a dragon energy. And long story short, this dragon energy really initiated me. I lost control of my body basically the whole night. I had to face a bunch of my fears, like spiritual fears, like fear of the dark, basically.
Mhm.
And it was like, if you are going to do this, you will be facing your fear of the dark right now. So it was
Well, if you
like,
don't mind if I cut in really quick. So, like, facing the dark, does that mean like your own darkness or fear, or like evil? Or like, what do you mean by facing the dark?
it was, it was both.
Okay.
Both my stuff, my projections on humanity and other people, but mainly the collective fear of the dark. So like fear of entities, demons, like that sort of thing. Um, I I had to see that. I had to see that. So I saw that in when I was in this psychic trance state, so that I could just do the work that I do, I guess, now and be fully open and protected and safe and not afraid of all of those pieces, because I think that's what holds a lot of people back is they're like afraid. And so this dragon energy was like, here it is, bitch. Like here it is.
Yeah.
And that was terrifying, to be honest. It was. But yeah, so I could go on and on and on. But a thing that really stands out about that night is it got to a point where my partner was really afraid. And he was like, this has been going on for hours. I'm calling 911 or 000 here in Australia.
Like, did he think it was like a psychosis or like a?
Yeah. He was like, you're having a psychotic break. You are having a psychotic break.
So then what
Because
happened?
I'm like talking about dimensions and I'm like, we're going to the 12th dimension. Stuff. And
He
doing
really
light
just wanted
language.
to. He really just wanted to get back to watching RuPaul. He just wanted all that to be done.
The image of RuPaul paused on the TV is like an ingrained symbol of that experience.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just really quite a thing. And anyway, he tried to call 911 and I said, I didn't say it, the channeled voice said it, was like, you're not going to get through. We're going to block the call. Like nothing can come in and stop this process. And he tried to call them twice and he couldn't get through. And like, this is the middle of the city, girl. This isn't like the middle of the sticks. This was right in the middle of Brisbane.
Wow.
And then he was like, oh, well, I'm going to call my mom. And that voice was like, that will be fine. We'll let you call your mom. And he called his mom. So his phone was working. The service was there. It's just that they blocked the call. And that was the biggest thing. Like afterwards, 2 years later, we'd long broken up and we were talking about it. And he was like, that is the one thing that I can't question myself out of it. I can't throw it back on you and say it was a psychosis. Like you couldn't control that.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is insane. Like, actually, for some reason, my eyes started like tearing up hearing that. It's just such a real like proof, like just the odds of that whole thing happening. And you mentioned like a dragon energy. So I hear some people talk about dragons. Personally, I've never had an experience, but is it just kind of like an archetype, or is it like a literal dragon, or can you just like elaborate on that?
Yeah, so dragon energy is high dimensional energy, right? Like you might put it into the same place as spirit guides that exist on, say, like a 5D plane or above.
Mhm.
Dragon energy really exists higher. It's like 7, 8, 9 dimensional frequency in terms of just the frequency resonance. And dragon is the dragon energy it's like a specific type of energy. You could link it to an archetype, but when they come through, they have a strong, focused, kind of a bit ferocious, but not in a scary way, like in a respect way, like whoa, like you respect that energy.
Like an emperor.
Uh, what was that?
Like an emperor kind of energy, like centered, focused,
Ooh.
kind of, yeah, like masculine.
They can be masculine, feminine. Often they're somewhere in between.
Mm.
So I actually have two dragon at this stage. I have two dragon guides. There's like a feminine and a masculine. One's more of a light, one's more of a dark. So it's interesting that the dragon energy came to initiate me into that experience originally, because they are strong initiators. Dragons are strong, no BS. Like, they will push you straight into the deep end. They will initiate you as you need to. Like, dragon energy doesn't muck around. Let's contrast that to, say, like an angel energy. If we were to take another archetype, where that the angelic realm, like they are very soft, they are very loving, they all want to just talk about like love. And
Yeah.
dragons energy tends to not be like that. They're way more practical, and they're just like whoosh.
Yeah. No, I definitely get that. I'm more of like the angel resonance, but I do deal a lot with the dark too. I don't know how much of my work you've seen, but I sometimes do exorcisms and things like that. So it's interesting when you said you had to face those things and like see it. And it reminded me, I recently had a client who came to me and he had been dealing with an oppression for many, many years. And he said a lot of the psychics and people he would go to refused to help him because they were like, I only work with the light, I only do this, which, I respect their boundary, but I was like, oh my goodness, like, how can you work in the light and just completely disregard the dark or not help a person in need, whether they truly have a demonic entity or not? Like, this person needs your help. So it just reminded me of that. I felt really bad for that person, but we
Mm.
helped them. We helped them.
I'm glad you did, because like you, I can appreciate people's boundaries. And a lot of psychics or healers, they don't want to mess with that, right? They don't want to mess with that, and there's still a fear there, of course, and that, I think, is healthy, to make sure you're not messing about with dark energy. But and I teach this in my psychic development, and I'm curious if you kind of take a similar, I guess, ethos to me. But from what I see psychically, there is no separation in the end of well, at the end of the day, there's no separation between light and dark when it comes back to the source. So you can't be afraid of something that you are, is what I often say. And what we are is both light and dark. And any energy or entity or demon or whatever it is, you know, it's only our sense of separateness, our sense of like us and them, that can make us afraid of it. So when we kind of go back into like, well, if we all actually come from one place in the end, there's nothing to be afraid of. And so working with the light and working with the dark is it's the same in terms of like
Yeah.
you're not compromised if you recognize and you remember that ultimate truth.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I completely agree. It really is the same thing. But I do understand that, like, not wanting to potentially open a door and kind of go to a dark place or have scary experiences. Like, I understand that. But then it's even like if you're so connected to the light, like seeing it as two separate things, I feel like you shouldn't be afraid of it anyways. Like, if you believe that light always wins or you feel so certain of your own love and beliefs in God or creator, whatever you want to call it, I don't see why you would be so afraid of these things. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know if oxymoron is the right word, but it just is kind of silly. But no, but I'm glad that I helped that person. I think that they're doing a lot better. So thanks for sharing
Right.
all that. That was crazy. That's awesome. I've never had an experience with a dragon energy. I have previously worked with like extraterrestrials and like light beings. And I did do light language for a little bit. So I kind of want to segue into that. So how would you describe light language?
Yeah. So my light language opened up that night predominantly. I'd already dabbled a little bit with more of the written stuff.
Mm.
But that night, in the middle of a city apartment, I was screaming at the top of my lungs all kinds of sounds that no one knew what they meant.
Wow.
Yeah. So my light language channel really opened. So light language, to me, I would describe light language as a vibration language. So some of the ancient languages in this world, like Sanskrit, for example, they're really based on the vibration or the sound that the language that we create. It's not just about what it means, it's also and importantly about the actual frequency of the sound that we're creating. And so light language falls into that category where we don't we don't need to translate light language into English or into any form of cognitive meaning. What we just need to do is feel light language. So, light language is simply a resonance, it's a sound frequency that we can, like if we're talking about spoken or sung light language as opposed to written, it's a sound frequency that carries with it codes, and those codes hit the soul or the cellular part of the body. They're not about the brain. The brain doesn't need to ignite, like understand it.
Mhm.
The body, the soul absorbs it, receives it, and it can have all different kinds of properties. It can be there to soothe, activate, support, remind, awaken part of you, to remember part of your own soul lineage, like all kinds of reasons. But what to me is an important point is that it really comes from the soul of the person or the practitioner who's creating the language. So when they actually like tap in and they take a moment to raise their own frequency and they take a moment to be in their own vibrational alignment, that's when the light language is really potent. And have you heard of speaking in tongues?
Mhm.
I think light language and speaking in tongues often get like put together because they're a similar thing. It's this idea of channeling the divine.
Mhm.
But speaking in tongues is almost like, to me, it's more of a foundational place that light language has now moved beyond, because speaking in tongues is more like there's a kind of a weird element of fear around it, like, oh my god, like I'm channeling the divine and God is speaking through me. I guess there's a parallel to light language in that, but light language doesn't have to be anyone else. Like you can connect to the Pleiadian
Yeah.
galactics if you want, like you can connect to dragon light language if you want, but you can also just connect into your own soul song. It doesn't have to be about anything else outside of you. Like your own higher self, your own divinity, your own higher consciousness is
Mhm.
just as powerful as any of these other entities, like dragons or whatever. So you can connect through that too, which I think is a lot more sovereign, perhaps, than uh, just speaking in tongues, which is like it's so outside of me.
Yeah. One thing I really admire about you is you seem to have so much like light and confidence. And I feel like for me, because I used to be really into light language and I would offer it to clients. But then my ego got in the way and I was so embarrassed to like post about light language because it just sounds so out there and like what the hell is this girl talking about? And then you see the videos where it's like woo, 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 right? And like people are all making fun of each other. And I just like I don't want to be that person that's like woo, woo. But at the same time, it's so helpful. So, like, I feel like you're open and you talk about it. Like, do you ever feel that like embarrassment, or do you think you're just past that? You're like, fuck
Yeah.
it.
No, oh yeah, I would I pick my places. I'm not just gonna walk down the middle of the street being like, shamani midi. Like I'd like to be more grounded than that, right? But God, yeah. I actually have like a free thing that I just stuck on the internet. It's called The Sound of Your Soul. And it was like, whoever wants to learn light language, you can do this, and it's completely free, right? And it predominantly focuses on that piece. Like the biggest chunk of it is just you getting over your own ego that kind of has to die in a way to make light language, which isn't that poetic? Like, because light language is not about the ego. Light language isn't about sounding good. It's not like singing where you have to like be in tune. It's not like that. So in order to just do it, you have to get over yourself,
Mhm.
because the ego has to collapse in and be like, okay, it doesn't matter if I don't get it, no one else gets it. I sound like an idiot. Like all of those throat chakra blocks, they're not blocks, they're just normal fears where they have to kind of get obliterated to
Yeah.
access light language. So it can be really, really empowering when you stick with it. But girl, I relate. Like I was just sitting in my bedroom, like under my bed sheets, like
Yeah,
just
totally.
singing underneath the bed sheets. And it took me years and years to do what I do sound healings. I did a light language event with 45 people in the room last week. And that just feels completely outside of any sort of reality when I first started doing it. So I think it's pretty damn normal.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. And it makes sense too, like what you're saying, like because it is a higher vibrational thing to kind of tap into. So you do have to overcome that level of like fear and like lower vibration. So yeah, like that's something I think about getting back into, or even just offering it privately, maybe not posting videos quite yet, but I think it is a powerful tool. And like you said, we don't have to understand it. And I think people should just be open-minded to just seeing what comes out. And I've actually noticed, so my boyfriend has a 8-year-old daughter. And she sometimes, I swear, she's channeling light language. And I think everyone just looks at her
Mm.
like a kid that's just babbling. But I'm like, say that again. What did you say? And she's like, whatever. But I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, she just like awakened my freaking like everything. So it's really cool because I feel like
Yes.
children, they just naturally still have that. Nobody's told them like that's weird, don't do that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like yes, agree. Kids are tapped in. They're just naturally tapped in. They don't have to try. They're just innately tapped in. So yeah, she probably is doing something there.
Definitely. Let's see. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you about human design. Now that is something I just don't understand. I don't really get what it is at all. So explain it like I'm a 5-year-old. What is human design?
Yeah, oh, that's cool. It's nice that you're not on the human design train yet. Because the train has definitely left the station. Like it's human design has become quite a thing over the last 5 years or so. Um, Basically, human design, think astrology meets Myers Briggs personality testing.
Oh.
So astrology informs human design, but human design is a chart system, just like astrology, that maps out how we are essentially designed to be when we're born. It's our unique blueprint of who we are, how our energy operates in the world, and how we can thrive to work with that energy rather than work against that energy. So it's informed by a number of different things. Like I mentioned, is astrology, but the I Ching hexagram is also a big part of what informs human design. And there's a couple of other systems in there that all come together. But the story of how it was birthed is really rogue. Like the founder of human design actually received a psychic download. This was back in like, I think it was the 80s or the 70s, maybe. And yeah, very much how like yoga came to like these ancient gurus, like meditating in the cave, and then the system of yoga was born,
Mhm.
and it's very mystical. Like, where did it come from? Human design's like that. Like, the founder of it, he just received it. And the reason that human design is stuck around though now and it's become so popular is because it's so damn good. It's so accurate. It's so useful. So I think what I love about it is human design is really socially validated. That's the reason why people use it and talk about it, because it's actually really good at like helping to describe people's traits and how to work with those traits.
That's interesting. And I like that, you talked about where it came from, how somebody kind of channeled that information. Because I'm actually a Reiki master teacher, and it's the same with the Buddhist monk Mikao Usui. We always say he was given the remembrance of the practice and not that he like
Mm.
invented it or founded it. So that's really awesome. So I'm really excited to hear more about it. So I heard you might have done a little chart for me.
I've done a little chart for you. Here's one that I prepared earlier. Um,
And give it to me straight. Don't like sugarcoat whatever it says.
Let me just pull it up.
Okay.
I'll talk to some of the biggest things. If anyone's ever seen a human design chart, like the first thing you do is you go, "Whoa, that's overwhelming, and I don't know what it means."
Yeah, no, I've
They can
tried to
look,
look at it. That's why I'm like, my brain can't. Like,
yeah, yeah. There's many a layer. I think there's really kind of two things that I'd love to talk about. One is your triple split, because that's quite a rare thing to have. And the other one is your aura type. Yeah, she's got a rarity, girl. She's a diamond. And your aura type. So this is the one thing, if anyone that's heard of human design before, you probably have heard of this idea of your aura type. So there's generator, manifesting generator, projector, reflector, and manifester. There's 5 different types you can be. So, and they're not all evenly spread. Like there's only 1% of the population that are reflectors, for example. So I'm a projector, which is a thing, I'm a 20%, right? So it's not an even distribution. But so you're what's called a generator. Now, caveat, this is based on your estimated time of birth too. So because we don't have the time of birth exact, like we just have to be aware of that. Generator, basically your aura is designed, this is just how it's going to naturally do its thing. Generators have an aura that expands around them. It's like an enveloping aura. It's like, if you're in the club, girl, people just come up to you and bounce off you. It's really easy to like have conversations with people in those sort of environments, because people can hear and they feel you. They feel your presence. It's like a light. It just radiates
And
out.
actually, I want to validate that. That is so true because anytime somebody's around me, they always say, I feel comfortable. Like all of a sudden, I feel like really calm and like loved. And I'm like, yeah, girl.
Yeah, generators have like a really, like just a lovely consistent emanation of energy. So when you're feeling like good in your energy and you're in a good place, people will naturally just feel that, which is really nice. And the reason why is because generators, your aura is designed to like attract and pull things into your orbit so that you can then respond to those things. And your strategy in life, because every type has a strategy, your strategy, according to human design, is to respond to what genuinely lights you up and to say nah to anything that doesn't,
That's so
basically.
real. That is literally so real. You cannot get me to do something I don't want to do, like at all. And I'm a Taurus sun, so
I did notice that I'm also a Taurus sun.
I knew I liked you.
Taurus here. Yeah, it's interesting to hear you say that, because generators are really truly designed to listen to that. So it comes from your sacral chakra, which is like an in the body kind of like gut knowing. So
Mhm.
it's like your body will move you towards what you want to do, and you'll get like like a no, like an ick, like a if something feels wrong, and you're really designed to listen to that. The other caveat is if you get like a nothing, generally we say that's like a not right now in human design. It's like, there's not really enough information. You might need more information about that job or that thing before you can really feel into your yes, no. But it really comes from the body. So a lot of generators tend to get burnt out when they're essentially saying yes to a no on repeat, and that's how they get burnt out, because generators, it's in the name. Generators can give a lot. You have a lot of energy, you have a lot of access to energy. You can push if you need to push. Other types, like say projectors, manifestors, reflectors, we don't have that. Like our body will just collapse. But generators are really great at burning out. I know that's a weird thing. You can burn out really easy because you can keep saying yes to no's and just doing it for the higher good or whatever it is.
Or just for the
Which
plot.
just for the plot, just for the exhaustion, just for the frustration, you know. Yeah, so that's where generators can get a little bit unstuck. So if anyone that's listening to this like plugs in their chart and they're like, I'm a generator, the same applies to you. Like you will always be guided. Your aura will always pull in the information, and then it's just up to you to listen to the truth and to stay authentic. And the cool thing about human design is like it gives you so much permission to follow your body and to trust in that, because you know how I now like in the world we like gut feeling, like intuition. Like we sort of validate it, but we don't.
Mm.
We're like, kind of like, yeah, you could you like trust your gut a bit, but also do a pros and cons list and like rationalize your way to the answer. Human design's really against that. It's like, no, that's like the worst way to go. So almost nobody has a human design where they're meant to just trust their mind and completely forget about their body.
Hmm. I guess that makes
Yeah.
sense. And then which of the like generator, projector, all of that, like which one's the most common?
Generator and is the most common.
That's cool. So most people
Yeah.
watching this are probably a generator.
Yeah. So generator is an interesting type because there's a subcategory of generator. It's not hierarchical, but there's like a hybrid type as well. So you're a pure generator,
Oh
but
wow.
then there's also manifesting generators who they're classed as a generator, but there's a nuance. They tend to be more buzzy. They're a little bit more look, they'll probably come to me and tell me they've got ADHD. Like that's usually what happens. And then I'm like, girl, that could be true, but you're also a manifesting generator. They're a lot more buzzy. They're a lot more like kind of zippy and go around, but nevertheless generator. So 70% of the population are generators or manifesting generators.
Hmm,
But
interesting.
that's changing. Like it's starting to shift a little bit. So
Oh, do you think that
yeah.
has to do with like different generations? Like one generation might be mostly manifestors or projectors or whatever?
It's kind of more like epochs or like larger eras of time rather than just one generation. So, for example, manifestors, which is one type, manifestors used to. This is so rogue about manifestors. Manifestors only used to be found in like royal family, like Bridgerton vibes, like they were only found in those sort of souls would only come into to manifestor bodies when they were in those roles because they have a very particular like they push their go push. That's manifestor energy, like rip
Gotcha.
through the illusion, right? um and nowadays though it's a lot more of the population. But what's interesting is that manifestors often have manifested babies. So there's this weird like bloodline thing that seems to have carried on. Yeah, so that's one example. Like, is in like a long time ago there was like none, and now there's more. Projectors, that's what I am. We're the newest type. So we only, I think it was the 1800s, 1880s. Don't quote me on that. That's when projectors came in. Before that, projectors didn't exist
Wow.
according to the law that is human
Yeah, yeah.
design. Like I'm pulling this from human design theory. So I guess, hang your hat on that. But um yeah, so but we're moving into a place now where there's a lot more manifestors coming in for some reason because human design has a huge shift coming in 2027.
I'm gonna write that
So
down.
look
For
into it,
myself.
girl. Dig deep because human design also predicts a massive shift in consciousness in 2027. So there's a lot of manifestors are being birthed to like support the birthing of that.
Honestly, that just makes sense. Like I just feel vibrationally and intuitively that for some reason that's just true. And even just looking at things happening in the world, it's like so many things are finally being put in front of everyone's eyes that I could see how things are going to be really, really shifting. But this is all so interesting. And then, oh, I want to hear the triple split thing or whatever you're talking about.
Oh yeah. Okay. This is like my kink in human design. I love it's called definition. So it's basically how all of your because the human design uses like the chakra system loosely. There's 9 energy centers in human design. But it's basically the way that they all like weave together. That's what this talks about. And that will then dictate like how you're designed to have a relationship thrive and how you're designed to work with others, say in your career. It's all about like how energy weaves with other people. So there's 4 types there. There's independent. So those people are quite independent. about 30% of the population. Then there's what's called a split. Those people are those very collaborative people. They're the sort of people that want to be like in really hand-holdy relationships. They really want to find their other half. They really want to like be in teamwork, and they thrive in teams. Not always, but they can really thrive in that way. Triple split and quadruple split. So you're a triple split, quite rare. So triple splits, we call this in the way I was trained in human design, we call this synthesizing. So basically, triple splits, your energy likes to sample and be in a bunch of different energies throughout the day or week in order for your own energy to process and complete.
That actually
So
makes so much sense. Go ahead, go ahead.
no, I'm curious just what comes up as you hear that. I
It
want to hear
just
your
makes me
experience.
think about like I've always had more than one project that I'm working on at a time, which is a blessing and a curse because sometimes I don't get them all done because it's like I'm trying to do 10 different things. And I also notice, like, let's say in a day, if I just do the one thing all day, I'm just not as happy. I feel like if I go to yoga and then, like, I don't know, go for a walk and then I freaking read a new book or something, like just having more than one thing going on, I feel fulfilled. When I only have one focus, I just feel like my life force is like gone.
Exactly. And what's really cool to hear that from you is because you're a generator, like generators are good at having a lot, like a one focus over time. Like you might come back to the same thing,
Mm.
you might let it go as well. But like generators can hold projects over time. Like this podcast is an example of one of those projects. So, but because you're a triple split, your energy literally becomes stagnant if you don't do that. It literally does. Like it's not just you being like a bad person and like you can't sit down for 10 hours and just that's literally how your energy works. And I think that's what I love about human design is it gives us so much permission to actually like just validate how our experience is without all the layers of guilting and like, oh, I should be doing it this way because someone said I should, I guess, one time. Right. So yeah. So when you are going to yoga and going to different environments, your body will literally like bounce off the people and the place, the environments you're in, and it helps your energy to move. That will help you have more focus. It will help you get more shit done, like, and not feel so stagnant, more invigorated. And it's the same in relationship, actually. For triple splits, you
So
triple
I should
splits
have
tend to.
like 3 or 4 boyfriends, and then I'll be more fulfilled.
Well, I mean, I didn't say that, but like if that's what we want to do, you know, never say never. But like with friends, like generally triple splits will have multiple different friends that may not even those friends may not even know each other, right? Like you might have
Yeah,
multiple.
like different cliques, like different kinds of people. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And you could bring them together, but you're also like, I kind of like my different spaces. Like I like my different environments. And in relationship romantically, triple splits just need to have a little bit of flexibility beyond the relationship because otherwise they'll feel stagnant, stifled, trapped even because they're and it's not like, oh, I just want to be like away from you. It's just, oh, I my energy hasn't moved because it's only with that one and other energy and it needs to move. So yeah, triple splits in relationship just need to make sure that they weave their energy with other people
Mhm.
in whatever way that is.
I was joking about the thruple thing, but no, that's so true
Well,
because
you may be joking, but that's the human design joke is the triple split is the original polyamorous.
oh my
So
god.
I was like, oh,
I'm
because
on to
why
some.
not? Like it's
Well,
there.
honestly, that could explain why I love Twilight so much. Like the whole like Edward Jacob, like, girl, why do you have both? I don't, they would have been fine with it, like low key. I don't think they would have minded that much.
Is that not the ending we all wanted?
It's a win-win. It would have brought like I feel like there was such a separation with Team Edward and Team Jacob, like among fans. They could all just come together, you know?
That's what we need. I'm sure that that was a fan fiction, surely.
Definitely. No, but that makes so much sense
Mhm.
because even though like I love my boyfriend at death and I want to spend so much time, but I definitely do need my other things or I'll feel trapped. And it's not that he's trapping me, but it's like I need to spread my wings and learn how to fly, you know?
Exactly. Your energy needs to move in order for you to actually have completion in your own energetic orbit. So the body's going to do what it's going to do. And if you resist that, you're just going to be like, ah!
Yeah. No, but definitely. So you offer human design readings, right, with your business?
I do. I'm certified as a human design reader. So I do them as standalone just human design. And what I love is when I do like a combo human design psychic reading. So we kind of get the best of the both worlds in that.
I love that. Yeah, and I think it's kind of more like kind of well-rounded in a way because you could have like the by the book definition human design, this is what it means, but then your own intuition of like I also feel this as part of it. So highly recommend him because even just off that interpretation of the chart made a lot of sense to me. So I will make sure I have like your website or whatever in the description for people to check out. And then you also help people with spiritual businesses, right?
Yeah, so everything falls under this psychic banner. Like, can I tell you a secret?
Yes.
I'm also a triple split.
Oh!
Yeah, so I didn't reveal that, but yeah, I'm also a triple split. So under the banner of psychic work, I do a lot of different things underneath that. So the human design with psychic is one of those things, but I also do intuitive business coaching. So it's really designed for light workers, intuitives, healers, star seeds, like people who are wanting to use their spirit, their soul, their gifts, their psychic gifts in business. I do business mentorship and coaching for them. So I there's like a huge component for those that are in business. I can also bring it into the intuitive coaching for business. So basically, I want everyone who wants to be full time in their intuitive work to be able to do that. I think that 2027 shifts moving into the 2030s, where the world is changing. This place is not going to be the same in 5 years. And this is the time. This is the time where light workers or intuitive and spiritual people who have been like, oh, I feel like there's something coming, there's a mission awakening within them. This is no longer theory anymore, girl. We're in it. It's here. The stepping up now is happening. And so I've been told psychically by my own team many a time that for whatever reason, part of what I'm here to do is to support other light workers actually get there, like actually feel like they can have a really good go at it and not just like throw it away and be like, that's a pipe dream, like squash their soul mission.
I love that. That's such an honorable like calling to life. And it's funny how you're also triple split and you have all those projects and then I have all my different things that I do. It's so funny how like everything ties together. It's just amazing. And this is just something that somebody channeled and it just makes sense. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, exactly. It's so rogue in the best way, right? Like just as rogue as growing up in a haunted house or having dragons come into you while you're watching RuPaul. Like some of the most amazing things come in from these magical, unexplained ways. And why does that just have to be sci-fi? In my reality, none of this is sci-fi. This is just real.
Yeah. No,
And I think
exactly.
that's kind of fun.
Exactly, exactly. And that's before we started recording for anybody listening, I was sharing with him that I grew up in a haunted house, and that's how I ended up coming into this. And that's kind of the same thing where like I was so I don't know if embarrassed is the right word, but I didn't want to tell anybody about those experiences. So I didn't want them to think I was crazy. But I feel like now I'm at a point where it's like, you know what, whatever. I know I'm not crazy. It's a real experience. Other people also witnessed it. And I think the more loud that different light workers are, the better off the planet will be because everyone in their own way has a spiritual gift. And if we all just shined our own light, obviously everyone else would follow suit. So I think it's great that you want to help people start their businesses and if anybody's watching who has a small spiritual business or even a big spiritual business, only like if you only help one person, that is so important. like there is always that domino effect. So I think that that's great. And I think this could be a good point to leave off unless there's anything else you wanted to add.
No, not at all. I just think that I just have this strong desire to just reassure people that this is just coming through my channel. I really feel like I need to reassure people that although it feels like everything's going to shit, there is a massive divine plan behind the whole thing. We all know it to be true, but sometimes we just need to hear it again because we are moving through the birth canal right now, and the contractions are real. The contractions are hard, but we're really getting there. And so like we're moving through it, and we are going to be on the other side.
Oh, that's a beautiful message. Thank you for that. And thank you so much for being on the show. And maybe we'll have you back sometime.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, girl. It's been so much fun.
Of course. All right. Bye.
Thanks, guys.